No Jumper, coolest podcast in the world. And today I'm bringing you an interview with a band that I've been very fascinated by for the past few months since I've become aware of you guys. Probably one of the heaviest, most brutal bands I've ever heard in my life. And obviously there's going to be some percentage of people who are watching this that don't know anything about metal.
I believe 90%.
But I want them to go check you guys out because you are going to hear basically what I imagine the end of the world sounds like. Today, talking to Slaughter to Prevail in the building.
Hell yeah. Thank you. Appreciate that.
How you guys doing?
Great. Great.
So, okay, let's get the individual introductions. This is Alex, who is the singer.
Yes.
And he is kind of like the face of the band, but I understand there's been like a long backstory. So can you guys explain how you initially came together and everything?
Yeah. So my name is Alex, Alexander Shekalai. I'm from Russia. I've been doing this for ages already, like 15 years old probably, doing my extreme vocals, and we run this band with Jack Simmons. He's from UK.
Okay, so you're the sole UK member amongst a bunch of Russians.
Yeah.
Basically, yeah.
Got it.
Yeah.
And we just started this band together like 2014, I believe. And here we go. Yeah.
Okay, so tell me a little bit about your early life growing up in Russia, because I wrote down the name of your hometown, which I predict that I'm not going to be able to say.
Yeah, I want to hear how you say it.
Yekaterinburg.
Yeah, Yekaterinburg. It's not actually my hometown because I live nearby in Yekaterinburg. It's just a small village, like 10,000 people, called Большой Istok, like Big Istok. And it was kind of regular Russian teenager life, you know, because a lot of teenagers from Russia, they actually not from the big cities, you know, they from the small villages, and we had no internet, we had nothing, infrastructure and all this. We're just like wild people, you know what I mean?
Because I've been to Moscow, and I remember people telling me, like, yes, this is a big, crazy city with crazy traffic, and there's clubs, and there's bars, and there's homeless people everywhere, but they're also saying, like, the vast majority of Russia, 99% of it is these tiny towns.
Yeah, and it's poor. And it's poor, and you have to, like, survive to you know, like, earn some money just to bring the fucking food on your table and pay for your fucking rent on the you know. But anyway, I believe Moscow is the most beautiful city and most comfortable city with the infrastructure, because Moscow never sleep, and you can order beautiful, tasty, good 24/7. You know, you can bring the service, like the best service in the world, whatever you want, in whatever like sphere you want, you know.
But basically the polar opposite of like everywhere else you could kind of grow up.
Exactly. Like we have Moscow, St. Petersburg, Nizhny Novgorod, Yekaterinburg, all these towns, like big towns. But Russia is very huge country, you know what I mean? And we have a lot of small villages and towns also, and people live there actually. But everybody wants to go to the Moscow to earn some money.
Definitely. And okay, so what kind of kid were you? Like, what were you into before you sort of discovered metal, and when did metal come into your life?
So I was growing up with my parents break up when I was 6, and my mom started to date one guy. He's like ex-military, and he was like a huge businessman. Then he go to the government, and he raised me, and he gave me all of this like man character, you know. You have to like fight for yourself, stand up. You have to know how to like play football, basketball, all this shit, you know, like good physics. You have to learn at school your basic stuff, you know, or I'm gonna beat your ass, you know. And my mom was really like tough with me, you know.
Right.
And it's actually a classic situation for everybody in my town, you know, in my like area.
Right.
And it was just the basic teenagers doing something. Like, we grow up with rap music, we hate rock, we hate metal, we don't understand it. If you listen to this metal shit, we're gonna break your fucking face, you know.
Really? It was like that?
Yes.
Holy shit.
Yes, and I went to military school for 6 years, And this military school was like with the kids who has no parents, you know, because my dad ran this military school with his friend, you know. And basically it was like a jail for teenagers, you know what I mean? And it was tough, but actually for me it wasn't tough because I didn't see any other life, you know. And when I come to America, I start to like see the world. When I come to like Yekaterinburg, Moscow, all this stuff, you know, I start to realize actually I had a tough, you know, past, you know, and people, especially in the big cities, especially in Europe and America, they don't understand a lot of things. I think it's normal, you know, and I believe when I was 15 or 14 years old, my friends showed me a metal band called Bring Me the Horizon and Slipknot, and I was like, wow, that vocal is so powerful. I want to do the same shit, and I start learn this.
Do you think you had heard metal before that didn't really resonate with you, but then that was like extreme enough that it kind of connected?
Actually, I heard about Slipknot from my friend, and he was not my friend. He was older than me, but my parents was close to his parents, you know. And once we stay at their house, he was watching the Slipknot 2001 or 2002, I believe, this in London.
The Disaster Piece.
Yeah, the Disaster
London.
Piece, yeah. And I was like, what the f is this? It's not normal. It's like satanic, you know? I don't like it at all. And then I was like around 8 maybe.
I had that experience too. I remember the first time that I heard Pantera and Vision of Disorder, that I was just like horrified. Like, this is the most evil sound of ever, and it took me a while before I was able to kind of like warm up to
it. I remember I was like 6 or 8, and I was watching MTV or stuff, and I saw these people with tattoos, like whole body covered tattoos, and I was scared. And I was like, I will not do the same, like never, you know. I'm afraid of these people, and right now
Here you are.
Here you are. Psychology, I don't know.
Definitely. You think that you always kind of had some anger built up inside you, and that
I think it's not about anger. I think it's first of all, I believe I have mental issues, you know. I believe all of us have mental issues. And if you covering tattoos and doing all this shit for attention, you looking for attention. It's just the psychology, you know. And if people don't accept this, they just not smart, you know. If you accept it and you work on it, you realize that, you know, then it makes sense. And I believe I was looking for attention, and this is why I start to do metal, and this is why I start to bang the vocalist, because vocalist is a frontman, you know. Everybody watch vocalist, you know. And I was looking for attention because I never get attention from my parents. I'm being raised like tough, in the tough hands, you know, and they just dictated me like, what are you gonna do, what are you not supposed to do, like very disciplined and all this shit. But I was looking for just, you know, love and peace.
And actually, about like whenever you explain to me like how you grew up, even like the military school, the stories you had, like always surprised me. Like one story he told me, he basically, how old were you when you took your dad's car?
11.
Like 11, and like saw the police driving behind him, so he hid, you know, and ended up crashing the car into like next door neighbors. And he was like, oh, it's just normal situation, you know, in Russia.
Wow.
Because every friend, my friend has the same story, you know, and I was like, okay, this is like, okay, normal.
Wow, that's crazy.